Hello. I have a funny accent, so if you don't understand anything, just tell me to slow down, because I do tend to get a little bit animated. My name's Carrie, and I'm a TV presenter and speak a little bit, write a little bit. And I work in I read a statistic that says that media and TV presenting, it's a 97% unemployment industry, which is a lot. It's a big, scary statistic. But so it's quite nice that I get to do this thing that not a lot of people get to do, and maybe they don't get to do it very much, and I get to do it every day. I work every day, so this 97% unemployment statistic doesn't bother me because it's not my truth, it's just kind of someone else's truth. So that's quite nice. It's nice because 3 years ago I couldn't look anyone in the eye. It's nice because 4 years ago I couldn't stand up at all. It's nice because 5 years ago I couldn't walk, I couldn't lift myself, I couldn't move my arms or legs, and I couldn't lift my own head off my chin. So it's canny going, actually, 5 years from that to this. When I was 26, obviously, please don't count too hard, I was working as an actor in residence in Sussex, and I was very unhappy. I wasn't very good at being happy. I'd been drunk for 10 years before that, 15 to 25, but we'll not talk about alcoholism today, because that's a whole nother 12 minutes right there. So I'd gotten sober for a year, and I was really unhappy and very brave. I was very brave about being sober. And I got on a train one day to go into town, and I started to feel a bit weird. I started to feel like I had the flu, a bit strange. Phoned my friend, said, I don't feel well, can you come and get us, please? And an hour later, I was dying on my bathroom floor. And I don't know if anyone's ever really had a near-death experience, but it's wrong. It's wrong to be 26 and dying on your bathroom floor. And death's a funny thing when it comes for you, because when it's in the room, you know? And an hour ago, I'd been fine. And all of a sudden, I could see with complete clarity that I said the fuck word a lot, by the way, sorry, just to brace you. It's really fucking wrong to know that you're about to die and have wasted your entire life on being pissed, basically. So I had a choice, and it was either you stay in the bathroom and you die, and I knew I was, or you get out and you phone for help. Lived in the countryside, had no phone reception, so I crawled. I'm the least athletic person you'll ever meet. So I did this like crazy crawl because my legs had stopped working by then. I reached for the phone, I picked up the phone, I went to dial 999, everything went black. I woke up later, 2 days later, and I couldn't move. Just couldn't lift my head off my chin, couldn't move my arms, couldn't move my legs. My parents had to take me to hospital. My neighbours found me. I had to go back to Newcastle, and the doctors went, well, you didn't die. And I was like, sweet, now what? Awesome. They said, that's it now, really. That's kind of it. And I don't want to spoil the ending, but clearly it's fine. clearly they were wrong. There's you know, I could tell you how, you know, I could do a story about how great I am. I will, don't get me wrong, I enjoy it. But it means fuck all. It's not about my story. That's not what this is about. It's about the tools that I used, because there's nothing special about me. I'm not smarter than anyone else. I'm not brighter. I'm not clever. I'm not kind of taller, but that's about all it is, really. There's nothing that makes me exceptional. I learned some tools over the years, and so it's the tools that I want to tell you about, not my story, because clearly it did end fine. So doctor said to me, you know what, Caroline, because my name was shorter then, I changed it. I thought, well, people do it all the time, they change their names, it's weird when they're well. They said, you know what, Caroline, you probably won't walk again. And that was the first time in my life I questioned something. So tool number one, don't listen to anyone that argues for your limitations, ever, because it's bullshit. So I thought, well, no, that's not good enough. I messed my life up so badly, that's not good enough. So don't argue, don't listen to him. He's a doctor and he's clever, but you know what? He's telling me what I don't want to hear. So I ignored him, and I started, as soon as my hands could move again, and they did for a while, I Googled, how can I not be paralyzed anymore? Nothing came up. How do I not, you know, stop myself from wanting to die today? How do I make the time go faster? Because time is such a long thing. And even when I dreamed, it was so fucking boring. I used to dream I was in bed. I used to dream I was bedbound. I mean, can you even imagine? 12 hours, I'd be like that. Wake up, do it all again. And lesson number 2, faith. Be a person of faith. And faith is just believing before you see. If you can't have faith in your own recovery, if you can't dream it even, then you're screwed, basically. You have to get to the point where you start and believe these things. So I got to the point where I could dream I was in a wheelchair. nice one. And then months and months and months, 18 months later, I got from the bed to the wheelchair. People always go, oh, she's the wheelchair girl. It took me fucking 18 months to get into a wheelchair. I was bed girl first, then I was wheelchair girl, lifted my head off my chin, went to Panama. Because that's what you do when you've been fucking bedbound for 18 months. You get on a plane, go to Panama. I'd heard that if you do a water-only fast, your body resets itself. Oh, the doctors went fucking nuts. You're 6 stone, and I'm a big girl. I was 6 stone by then, you know what I mean? And they said, you'll die if you do this. You will die if you do this. Lesson number 3 are we on now? I'm not sure. The weirder, the better. Trust me. You're gonna try a cure. Don't try any of the, standard NHS. NHS is wonderful, they can't help you. If they can't help you, they cannot help you. So I went up a mountain in Panama and I fasted on water only, and I did pretty much want to die at that point, so it didn't really matter. It was the hardest fucking thing I've ever done in my life. It really was physically painful, it was remarkable, and it worked for 6 weeks. And that changed the momentum of my life experience, because this one thing that was supposed to kill me cured me for 6 weeks. Then it stopped working, which was shit, quite frankly. And I got home, but I knew at that point that it was right. I knew I was on the right track. So then I went from, have you ever seen a montage? You're all athletes here, right? You know the Rocky montage where you go from one place and you end up in a straight line to another. Recovery is fuck all like that. Recovery is circles. It honestly is. And I bounced from bed to chair to walking for 6 weeks. Very well, thank you very much. Straight back to the bed. And that nearly destroyed me. I had to dig deep to find a new cure from then. Because it's like having your heart broken. It's like your body is your boyfriend and it keeps cheating on you. And I wasn't happy. I'm single, that's why I'm single. Because I don't cheat on myself, do you see what I mean? My body knows now. But I knew that I'd get well, and I knew that it didn't matter what anyone told me. Lesson number 4 maybe is reality is not what is in front of you. Reality is not even 10% external. And I'm not saying because I read some bullshit airy-fairy book. I know, because this is my life. Lesson number 6, never trust a bookworm. Never take your advice from anyone who has gone on a course and learned it, unless they're a surgeon, in which case, fine, you don't want a self-taught surgeon. But it's, you know what I mean? So I taught myself this. I taught myself which recoveries worked for me, which recoveries did not work for me. I taught myself how to pick myself up and keep going, how to self-talk myself into a place where I could believe it, because some of these treatments will break your heart. One of them worked, clearly, and it involves doing brain exercises every day. And these brain exercises are very strange because I can't see them. I have to have faith in them. I have to be a person of faith in my brain exercises. The doctors, I was like, hey, I can walk again. Lesson number 6, I think we're on now. Action is bullshit. Action is bullshit because if you don't change your belief first, if you do not back your action up with words and with mentality, I think that's what I meant there, you will end up back where you started. You know, like people that lose shitloads of weight and then they end up big again, like people who end up in a relationship with the same guy in a different pair of trousers. Oh yeah, you don't change your action. You don't change your belief. And action is bullshit by itself. And that's what I'd been doing. I hadn't really believed in my own recovery. So we're at the point now where I can kind of stand. This is the most important thing for tonight anyway. Learning how to walk is harder than learning how to stand. Isn't that weird? You think that you see them on the TV and they're like, oh yeah, and they're like walking, it's really hard. And they're doing up and down those pole things. You ever seen it on the telly? No, standing is really fucking difficult. Momentum is everything. Momentum is so important. And that's what gets you for where you want to be. You know, even baby steps, learning how to stand. I mean, sometimes I'm in the queue at Sainsbury's and I'm like, check out me. Really good at standing. Taught myself. Self-taught. And, standing is hard. Standing is very, very hard work. I still have to concentrate on that. Priorities. That's another tool. What is your priority? I work on telly now, and sometimes my job is to interview footballers. Sometimes it's to talk about race courses. Sometimes it's to talk to women, whatever. My priority is my brain exercises. If I don't get up and do my fucking brain exercises, my hands don't work, my legs don't work, I can't talk to you. That's my priority every day. Getting paid is secondary. What is your priority? Whatever your priority is, set your priority to where you need it to be. It was learning how to walk, now it's keeping doing it. So I moved to London. Doctors were like, I'll keep this part brief because I've talked too much. Doctors were like, you must stay at home and you must take a charity job and you must just be very thankful and live in your parents' spare room. Well, that's not living. So I moved 300 miles from home and worked night shift, and they were like, you're going to be in a wheelchair, take it with you, you're going to need it. I sent the wheelchair away, it was very scary. And I do now. I work in an industry that's 97% unemployment. there's a 99% chance that I will end up back where I was, unable to move, unable to speak. It's 99% for 1% leeway because I'm not supposed to be this well. I'm not a statistical anomaly. People are not statistics. You are a person. Don't ever let anyone tell you what your destiny is going to be. Don't let a doctor tell you. Don't let your partner tell you. Don't let your family tell you, because every statistic, you put an entire person together and we're all statistical anomalies. I don't care what anyone says, and it's so true. So it doesn't matter what industry you work in. It doesn't matter what you do for a living. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of what you see on the news. Don't be afraid of what people tell you. Don't be afraid of getting sick and dying, because recovery is there. It's there and it's possible, and I completely believe in it, because 5 years ago I couldn't do any of this, and recovery is kind of like a dance. I'm doing 20 different things right now, and it took me such a long time to learn every single one, but I am my own recovery, and there is no stability that another person can give you that you can give yourself like that. If you can shore yourself up, if you can make the world a safe place, if you can make it an exciting place, then there's nothing to be afraid of, if that makes any sense. So I do work in an industry of 97% unemployment, but the 1% of me that gets scared about this, I'll tell you a story, tell you a secret, I wear cowboy boots a lot. People think it's because I'm fucking tall. I am. I'm a big girl. I am very tall. It's because I can feel my feet and my legs at the same time, because they're stiff, see what I mean? So whilst I'm talking to you, I know I'm okay. I know I'm all right. And you know what? It wouldn't save me. Cowboy boots would not save me. They wouldn't stop my legs from working. I still look really friggin' stupid if I fell over right now, but it's my talisman. And my last tool really would be use your cowboy boots. Use whatever makes you feel safe. Use whatever makes you feel strong, and use whatever makes you feel nice. Because really, I know that you guys are all athletes and all that sort of business, but we all need something to make us feel a little bit reassured, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's not even a case of feeling the fear and doing it anyway. It's just being so friggin' excited when you leave the door. And when I leave the house in the morning, I feed myself, I dress myself, I shower myself. It's 8 o'clock in the morning and I've done 3 impossible things. Hello, no wonder I'm always fucking smiling. There is nothing that can't be that exciting, and the level of satisfaction that I get from that, and that's my final tool. If you can harness satisfaction, then you don't need anything else in life, because then everything becomes meaningful. I think I'm out of time. I hope that made sense.